What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So I got one here by Jason Whitlock again. So yeah, does the WNBA treat Caitlin Clark like Michael Jordan, like MJ? So we're gonna get right into this. So here is Whitlock along with Stephen Kim. So here we go.
We missed the opportunity on the show to talk about the Barbie brawl. Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, jacy, Sheldon, Marina Mabry. It was some real white on white crime in the WNBA on, what was that, Tuesday night? And so we didn't get to talk about it, but man, is Christine Brennan up in arms about the Barbie brawl. She thinks the WNBA has handled this terribly. Here's some of Christine Brennan's tweets, and I respect Christine Brennan, but and she's a Caitlin Clark supporter like I am, but I think she's gone a little too far here. The WNBA continues to fail to meet the moment. Terrible decision to allow Marina Mabry to stay in the game. People are watching as never before, and this is what they see. Christine Brennan, then she responded because Chris Everett jumped in. Everybody's up in arms. Chris Everett, when will these ladies realize, accept, and appreciate Caitlin Clark is the best thing that ever happened to women's basketball? This is a bad luck for the sport and what's happened to sportsmanship. Christine Brennan, and it's going to be very interesting to see what Kathy Engelbert says today. This is a big moment for the WNBA. We now have data that Clark alone draws more than half the league's TV audience. Can the W continue to allow her to receive cheap shots like Mabry's? We shall see. So I think Mabry's belly bump, that Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, flopped to. She ended up getting upgraded to a flagrant two. We'll debate that here in a second. But it ended up getting elevated to a flagrant two. But Monica McNutt of ESPN actually had a different take, which probably isn't that surprising. Let's play Monica McNutt trying to put this fight in context. Play the clip.
Was what we saw last night beyond the pale, or was that just good, hard, competition?
I'm okay with it. I think, again, you got to look at the history, right? Jacy, Sheldon and Caitlin Clark, the 1 and 5th draft picks of last year's draft. There's history there. I'm not saying necessarily history in terms of it being nasty, but there's just history in terms of them playing against one another for years, right? You get a little scrum here. Each teammate comes to their other teammate's rescue. Marina Mabry, like I said, is someone who does not back down from this sort of thing as well. I thought it was adjudicated fairly. Could we have done without it? Yes. But I, Greeny, continue to say competition is not always pretty and buttoned up, right? And then I think the other part too, as Caitlin continues to matriculate through her WNBA career, if you have a mic on her in game, she's a trash talker too. And so I'm okay with competition. I didn't like the play by Sophie Cunningham. I thought the teammates coming to their respective teammate in the first little scrum was okay. I did not like play by Sophie Cunningham.
Do we have the clip? Let's play the hard foul by Sophie Cunningham here. This is at the end of the game. This is
go hockey. And let me explain this. The great Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player in my lifetime. Okay, all respect due to Gordie Howe and everyone else, but they had a rule in the National Hockey League, and I've heard quotes where defensemen have said, they were asked, hey, how come you don't nail Gretzky along the board? They said, no, we'll hit him. But they say, we'll never take a cheap shot. We'll never take anything unnecessary or anything too far because we understand his importance to the league and part of our paycheck we owe to him. But also, especially during his days with the Edmonton Oilers, they had a guy by the name of Dave Semenko. This guy was rough. And his basic job was to be the enforcer. Every hockey team that had a superstar had a Dave Semenko, and later on with the Kings, it was Marty McSorley. Mm-hmm. So I want to applaud Sophie Semenko. She did a hell of a job. Keep it up. Keep going. So Sophie Semenko, game puck to you or whatever. You did your job. That's the way to protect the league. But I don't get this. For them, I don't think that Caitlin Clark should be babied. You're absolutely right. But to say that she's just taking regular hard fouls like every other player, come on, Jason. We all have eyes. Come on. Stop this fake neutrality.
Don't take me out of context. Don't take me out of context. She's dealing with jealousy, envy, racism,
Right.
all of that. But she's also dealing with what Michael Jordan went through. When you're so much more skilled and get so much more attention than everybody else, and people struggle to deal with you because there is no physical or skill equality, things are going to turn rough and desperate. And that this is part of what Caitlin Clark is dealing with. And Caitlin Clark does so much whining to the referees and so much flopping that it's accentuating the problem. But to sit here and say, like, hey, Michael Jordan went through this, and I know it's different when it's women, but she's dealing with a group of women who she's far more skilled than, and so they turn a little aggressive and sloppy. And for people, the other problem we have are the people that are evaluating this are only watching Indiana Fever games.
The Luxion 7070 is Lumileds' newest high-power LED design for applications that require high flux and have to deliver market.
And pass.
There are a handful of us that watch the rest of the WNBA. And I see Angel Reese popped a little black woman in the face 2 nights ago. Same deal as worse than what Jacy Sheldon did. They're so unskilled and a little bit awkward. It's a very physical league because they're that unskilled. And this is what it's happening to other WNBA players more randomly, because in order to slow Caitlin Clark down, it takes a level of defensive focus and effort and energy and constant pick her up, basically full court, because she's that talented and skilled. Of course, she's going to be in more friction situations because that's what it takes to slow her down because she's that skilled. But if you watch the rest of the league and you watch them miss layups, hit each other, bark at each other, nearly come to, it's a bunch of emotional, masculine women playing basketball. And
yeah, a lot of masculine women. And of course, we talk about, okay, should we maybe lower the rim? Because, yeah, we see so many missed layups. I mean, layups that, like, should be easy make. They should make 9 out of 10 times, but I think maybe they'll make 5 out of 10 in the NBA. It's 9 out of 10 times they'll make that layup. They're not going to miss. But, and of course, as you can see, the Barbie brawl, no one's going to suspend anybody. No one's going to suspend Mabry. No one's going to suspend. And Engelberg better do something, because if this gets out of hand, and I'm not saying you should baby Caitlin Clark, you knock her out of the equation, guess what? We're going to tune back out. We're going to say, okay, I'll watch from afar, but we're going to tune out.
This is kind of what it looks like, but it's all magnified when it's Caitlin Clark.
Okay, first of all, okay, do not compare her to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And I don't mean in terms of skill, because yes, she's great. She's transcendent. She might be the greatest player of all time. Although for me, it's going to be tough to overcome Cheryl Miller, who did not have a league to play in. Now, with that said, Michael Jordan had a certain mentality. He was a Doberman. He was a fighter. He was not afraid to scrap. Caitlin Clark is not that type of personality. That is the reality. I still remember Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller trying to kill each other, and then Michael Jordan against the Knicks, Michael Jordan against a couple of other guards he would scrap with, Vernon Maxwell, who was crazy. Caitlin Clark is not built like that, and that's not a knock on her. If you're the Indiana Fever alongside Sophie Semenko, here's what you have to do now. Remember that movie, Set It Off?
Yeah.
Set It Off. Good movie. Good cast, right? They need to get their version of the Queen Latifah character. Just a big black stud. Just flat out. Because, Sophie Semenko, she's a little light. They got to get their version of whatever that Queen Latifah character is so she could set it off. They're going to have to face the reality. She's not as tough as Michael Jordan. That's the reality.
She's also not scared, though. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark. She talks trash. She's not really trying to back down. She draws a lot of attention and does a lot of antics that agitates these women that are out there. Again, and I'm not saying this as a negative. I'm just saying this honestly. She's a bit of a hot dog. And when you're a hot dog, when you like to taunt the crowd, and she knocked down a three-pointer and kind of taunted the Jacy Sheldon about 3 minutes before Sophie Cunningham did the Barbie brawl. Again, she's a bit of a hot dog. And if she wants a little less attention, and now it's not going to back everybody off. It's not going to back everybody off because Dejanay Carrington and a couple other girls in this league, they can't stand Caitlin Clark. And they can't stand that they're not as popular as Caitlin Clark. I get it. But what I think we're seeing from all the players is just like, hey, this girl's a hot dog. She's better than all of us, more skilled, and she's showing us up. And so occasionally they lose their temper, or because they're athletically awkward, they beat her up. Or again, everybody's, Jacy Sheldon poked her eye. Nah, she slapped her across the face, and Caitlin Clark acted like she was shot in the eye. And I'm telling you, Marina Mabry's belly bump should not have knocked an elite athlete over. That was a flop.
I don't believe this. First of all, most people, unless they're prize fighters or combat athletes, you get hit in the face in any way, no matter what the velocity, you're going to react a certain way. A women's basketball player is really going to, that to me is not a flop. Now, that other girl that did get her out of here. Yeah, I'd put a hit on her. Next game, bounty. I'm going full Buddy Ryan. If I'm whatever that Indiana.
They don't want to smoke with Marina Mabry. Marina Mabry is not scared at all. They don't want that.
Wow.
That's why they went after Jacy Sheldon. I'm just telling you, I've watched too much of this league. I watched Mabry last year in Chicago. One of the reasons why she got ran out of Chicago is because she wouldn't back down to Angel Reese. She didn't really like playing with Angel Reese, and she kind of made it clear, and they moved her out of Chicago. That girl's not scared. If you enjoyed that video,
I give her that. Marina Mabry, she won't back down. I'll give her that. So, if any of you enjoyed any of this content, please give me the HKO special. Help the king out. Hit that like, subscribe, and comment. And wherever you are, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next